All right, everybody. Hey, thanks. It's Mike. Appreciate you guys tuning back in. I'm joined again by Chris Sewall, baseball card collector, investor, dealer. In that order, Chris, first of all, you must get sick of people saying that every single time you're on a video. I've noticed that everybody does it.
No, I love it. It's cool.
It's good branding.
Yeah, no, yeah, right, exactly. I wish I had called myself sports card collector, investor, dealer when I first started the channel, but yeah, I went with baseball because back when I was collecting, baseball card was a generic term meaning all sports cards. But
That's right. It was.
like you wouldn't
Thanks
say
for,
where you wouldn't say I'm a sports card. You'd say I'm a baseball. We're going to the baseball card store.
right. Yeah. I don't think basketball cards weren't big until like 89.
I would say even later than that. Like they started popping up in the 80s, but yeah, they weren't as popular till maybe the mid 90s, I would say.
Yeah. Football too.
Yeah.
Thanks for being on. I really appreciate it. It was
Yeah.
so much fun last time.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that you agreed to come back on. Uh, I am interested to talk a little bit about modern baseball because, like me, you don't watch as much. You don't follow as much as you used to, right?
Not anywhere near close. No.
Did you before you moved to the Netherlands?
No. I mean, I was a absolute baseball psycho fanatic in the 90s.
Me too.
I mean, like that's all I did. I knew every, if you asked me who was like leading the league in doubles at any moment, I could have told you.
Me too.
And I could have named all starting nine on any team. I could have told you who's in first place at any moment. I knew it all. Like every morning I woke up, I read all the box scores in the newspaper. I knew exactly who hit home run every day. Watched, Sports Center, Baseball Tonight, whatever. That's
So
all I
relatable.
got for the 90s. And then it really dropped off after that. And I've sort of been a casual fan ever since. But I always have that that passion from the 90s, really.
Yeah, for me, it was like 87 through the late 2000s, maybe 2008, 2009.
Okay.
And then that passion dropped off. I canceled our cable account 2010, 2011-ish, and no longer had a way to watch, and my kids weren't into it. And so, and another thing is that baseball dramatically slowed down in the last decade. Does that have anything to do with it for you?
What do you mean slowed down? Like the pace of the game?
The pace of play, yeah. So you get the same amount of baseball as you did 30 years ago, but it takes 35 minutes longer.
Yeah, I mean, I was already sort of not really watching, so that wouldn't have changed much for me. But I'm sure, yeah, I mean, sports should be going the other way, right? Things should be people having slower attention spans, and things should be getting quicker. And yeah, it's probably not good for the game. They're making rules to change it, right?
Exactly. I was going to ask you about that. What do you think about those?
I think probably it's good. I mean, a lot of hardcore, long-time baseball people always have a problem whenever they change anything, but it's probably good for the long-term health of the sport.
For sure. I mean, I don't think people who are diehard fans who are upset about the game being faster are going to stop watching. But people like me who already stopped watching are already saying, I have a lot of friends who are saying, I might watch more baseball this year.
Yeah.
And if you can bring back 10%, increase your viewership by 10%. I also think another big problem with ultra modern baseball is that playoff games start at like 8:30, 8:45 p.m. and kids, you've lost the kids in the last 20 years.
Yeah, definitely. The games always started at 7 p.m. on the East Coast when I was I was in teenage years. So it was always 7 to 10. So it was like perfect. Could go to sleep right after the game. And if we went to extra innings, you'd have to sneak the radio underneath your covers so your parents didn't find out. But
yeah, I remember watching. I was obsessed with Cecil Fielder. I don't remember what year it was.
91.
Yeah,
that was a big year, right?
Yeah, and I wanted to see him hit his 50th, and so I convinced.
90, or maybe it was 90, or was it 90?
Maybe
90?
it was. Yeah, it was. I was young, so I was born in 79, so 90, 91, whatever.
Yeah.
And I convinced my mom to let me sleep in the TV room every night until he hit his 50th because I wanted to be watching it. And so I had a sleeping bag and a pillow in there on the floor, and I would just watch until the game was over or he hit it. Yeah. And that was just a big, exciting time for me because nobody had hit 50 in my lifetime at that point.
No, it had been like 14 years, right?
Yeah.
Nobody in the 80s hit 50.
Right. So you just made a big announcement. You're moving back to the States.
I did, yeah. That's yeah. We basically decided together. My wife and I decided it's time. And she got a great job interview, so it all sort of lined up. But that's really exciting for me. I love it here too. But yeah, I miss going to card shows regularly. I miss buying collections regularly. It's very sort of scattered as it is now.
Yeah. Are you going to be in the Northeast? I mean, you're from Baltimore originally?
Well, yeah, we'll be in Maryland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. I guess that's sort
sure
of Northeast.
Yeah, I don't know if it counts the Northeast. Not quite sure which part, but definitely Maryland. Yeah,
right.
Maybe DC, maybe Baltimore, somewhere in there.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, you must be very excited. Do you ever get asked to go and speak at card shows?
I do, and I would love to do that, but I've never been able to. So like the Toronto Expo asked me to come be on the thing, and that was when I considered flying in just for that, because they offered a table and stuff. I considered doing that, but it's too long a flight for a weekend show. But now I'll be able to do that much easier. Those sort of things.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Very excited about that.
Yeah, and you are dozens of subscribers away from 60,000.
Okay. Oh, is it? I don't actually keep the count anymore. But yeah, that sounds cool.
Well, YouTube only says so. It says 59.9K for me.
Okay.
So I don't know if you could be one subscriber away for all.
Yeah, I'm probably really close. I have a viewer who always like updates me, and it's really cool. Just you're 59K, 58K, 59K. So he's always doing like a countdown thing, which is nice.
That's awesome. Congratulations. 60,000 is huge.
Yeah.
I remember where you were when I started. I think I want to say it was like 12, maybe it was under 20,000. That was in early 2021.
Okay. Early 2021. So I was about a year in. Yeah.
Yeah. Great. It's great growth.
Yeah.
So you don't follow modern baseball as much as you used to, just like me, but since you buy collections from people, are you seeing any prospects move more than usual, or do you just not buy prospect-based collections?
Yeah, I basically don't buy. I basically don't buy prospect-based collections. I mean, obviously, I know the big names that you need to know in case there's if I buy a collection, there's a Julio Rodriguez auto or something. I know that, but no, the obscure prospects, I definitely don't follow that. I used to do that all the time in the 90s, and I always tried to like pick it never panned out. So it's not something I was any good at, or maybe it's just a lot harder than people think. I think the number of prospects that actually pan out is so low, even in the short term,
right?
Like not just in the long term, it's like zero. I mean, it's literally 1 in 100. But even in the short term, so many of them phase. I mean, just think of like the big prospects in the last few years who had super hype. They've all the hype's all gone on most of them,
Yeah, I did a video probably, I don't know, 9 months ago, maybe, about the last 30-ish number one picks and how none of them have made it to the Hall of Fame, and only 1 or 2 ever became superstars. I don't remember the exact numbers.
Number 1 overall draft pick?
Yeah.
There's not, well, wait, so none of the last 30 have a shot at the Hall of Fame? Wow, that's interesting.
I don't remember the exact numbers. It was very low, if not zero.
There's nobody. So going back to like Chipper Jones.
Yeah, I went back to 1990, I think.
Or A-Rod. Wait, A-Rod.
Yeah. Yeah, but he won't make the Hall of Fame.
Well, okay, but you're that he counts, right?
yeah, for sure. And I talked a little bit about that.
Yeah.
Is it worth it to prospect? That's a very, very popular thing in today's day and age. Would you ever consider prospecting? And is there anybody you would buy or hold on to?
You mean from a purely like investment player? I think that's like the worst and one of the worst investments you can make. Like, especially if you're talking about long term, none of them pan out. Like you said, 31st overall picks and no Hall of Fame. Like,
right.
I mean, 0 for 30. Like you would think 10, even if it was 10 out of 30, that would be a bad odds, right?
Yeah.
But it's 0 out of 30. That's how it is. I mean, even a young star, Juan Soto, Juan Soto is probably going to end up with a very good career, or Julio Rodriguez will probably end up with a very good career, but a very good career their cards won't go up. For their cards to go up long term, they got to be Mantle or Griffey, or not even Griffey. They got to be better than Griffey, let's say.
Yeah, or they need to have a stretch like Trout did, where he was getting 8+ WAR every year.
That's a better way to put it. They have to be like the unquestioned best player in baseball for a run. How many players, does that actually happen to?
It's one or two in a generation.
Yeah, right.
You're far more likely, well, obviously you're far more likely to be a bust, but you're more likely to be like a very good star type player who isn't going to sell, his cards aren't going to sell for 6 figures, or certainly not 7 figures.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's really only the cream of the cream of the crop. And to pick that is, I mean, there probably won't be one this year. That's a way to say it. There probably won't be a rookie in the year 2023 who pans out into like a true legend like that.
Yeah, in all likelihood, you don't get that very often at all.
Right. How about you? Do you do much prospecting for? I mean, it's fun. Don't get that far. It can be very fun, and you can hit it big every once in a while, and it's a blast.
No, and I even stopped buying wax and opening fresh products, and I did yesterday for the first time, and immediately said, "Oh yeah, this is why I don't do this." It's so rare to get anything. Like if you spend $50 for a box, it's highly unlikely now because of the odds, the retail odds, or even with hobby odds, you're going to get anything that's worth $50. No, you're basically hoping for a $300 card in there, and you're more likely to get a $5 card.
Yeah, that's fun. It's so funny. I never opened wax at all, but I was at a baseball card store my last time in the States, and we were just I'm good friends with the owner, and we were just hanging out, and we were like giving each other trivia questions, and winner gets a free pack type of thing. And so he gave me something like 5 free packs of 2023 tops, and he had them priced at $6 a pack.
Hobby or retail?
I don't know. I guess it was probably hobby. Does that sound believable?
Probably, yeah.
I opened 5 packs. I did not get $1 worth of cards in the 5 packs. Essentially got all base cards, a couple parallels worth maybe a quarter, and that's $30 down the drain.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Opening packs are fun, but is it that fun?
Yeah, in one of my mega boxes I bought yesterday, I got a minor league on-card autograph in a mega box pack. So it's a refractor of some sort. I don't remember, Mojo refractor maybe. I can't keep up with all these. And I went to look, and this is a minor leaguer who's the 15th best prospect in the Marlins organization. And I thought, oh, this probably selling for $20, $30. No, $2.
$2?
$2. There in the last week or so, 5 have sold on eBay, all between $2 and $3.
Wow. Well, if at that price point you could actually prospect.
Well, sure, but there's got to be thousands of them.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's a rookie auto, or it was like
it's not a rookie and it's not a first Bowman Chrome. Okay. It's just in between.
Yeah,
minor leaguer who had a 2021 first Bowman, and then he's still a minor leaguer. So, and he's not a rookie yet.
Well, $2.
Yeah, I know. I thought, wow, this is a great hit, but no, it wasn't really.
Yeah. Well, I think the ramp up in overproduction the last few years has killed even that, because that wouldn't have been the case a few years. I don't think that would have been the case a few years ago.
Yeah.
Unless he's like truly under the radar, like he's a reliever or something. I don't know. He's
a hitter. He's a hitter.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't think that would be that low.
Yeah, and I think what's happening is Fanatics or Topps, probably Topps before now, and Panini know they can pay these minor leaguers a lot of money to sign 5,000 autographs, and they just flood the market with these minor league autographs because the minor leaguers don't make a lot of money. They make next to nothing. So these autographs are a big deal for them.
Sure.
And then 10 years ago, these autographs were semi-rare and much more valuable, but now there's so many of them.
That's got to be it, because $2 sounds amazing. Yeah, that's brutal.
Yeah,
brutal.
Last year in like May, I think I started getting the sense that Sandy Alcantara was a really strong shot at winning the Cy Young. So I went out and I bought a lot of his cards. I really like him a lot, and I thought, man, his value is going to go up a lot if he wins the Cy Young or if he becomes a big Cy Young candidate. And I bought a lot of his rookie autos, his first Bowman, and sure enough, he won the Cy Young, but his values didn't really go up. What's the deal with pitchers and batters and the difference in values?
That's a great question. It's always been that way. I've actually been asked that a bunch of times, and I don't know that I have a great answer. I mean, the obvious answer is it's fun to watch the hitters every day.
Yeah.
A pitcher is only pitching once every 5, if that, games. So it's much more. I mean, when I was always into hitters for that exact reason. I like to check the box scores every morning. I wanted to follow how many hits did Cal Ripken get yesterday, and with pitchers, it's just a lot of. I don't know if it's that simple. Maybe that's all it is, but it is totally the case. It's always been the case.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's more exciting to watch a hitter hit. They hit home runs, they steal bases, they hit triples. Well, probably not many anymore until maybe this year. They play the field and they make exciting catches. Pitchers just stand there and throw a ball. And I like pitchers more. I've always liked pitchers more than hitters. So maybe it's cheaper for me to buy my favorite players. But I've just always been interested or just recently started thinking, man, pitcher cards don't go up in as much in value.
No, and what we were talking about earlier, like with players who achieve like true eliteness, like for a stretch, best player in the game. There was actually a number of them in our era, late '90s. There was Randy Johnson and Pedro Martinez and Greg Maddux. He was more mid '90s. Clemens, but I think I'm even missing one. Maddux, Randy Johnson, and Pedro Martinez, I think, are 3 really good examples. They reached like pinnacle of greatness for a stretch. Maddux won 4 Cy Youngs in a row.
Yeah. Randy Johnson won 7, 6.
No. Randy Johnson did something utterly ridiculous. Like he went like 70-7 over a course of over 4 seasons, or something. Not that much, something insane. And Pedro Martinez won like 3 Cy Youngs in a 5-year stretch or something.
Yeah.
All 3 of those, I mean, there's no value in their cards at all.
Right. And five times Cy Young for Randy Johnson.
5 times. Was it in a row? It might have been in a row even.
He had 4 in a row, 1999 through 2002. And he also won it in 95.
Okay. Yeah. 5 Cy. Really, he won 5 Cy Youngs.
Yeah.
Can't believe I forgot that. I would have definitely known that very well at one point.
Yeah, but Maddux won 4.
Maddux won 4 in a row. He won 4 in a row with the Cubs and 3 with the Braves.
Here we go. He did win 4 in a row, 92 through 95.
Yeah.
1 with the Cubs. Yep.
So
and then he went 5th place, 2nd place, 4th place.
No, he was like absolute stud. I mean, he was Sandy Koufax.
Yeah.
Ish.
Minus the strikeouts.
So Randy Johnson, 4 in a row. And then look at Pedro. He had, I think, 3 in 4 years or something.
Yeah. So Pedro had the 99 and 2000 seasons, which were out of this world amazing. 2000, I think, was probably better, just taking a little while. So, yep, you're right. 3 out of 4. And that 98 season in between, he came in 2nd place. And then he was injured in 2001. He came back and finished 2nd, 2002, 3rd in 2003, 4th in 2004.
I mean, it's like insane how good those 3, especially in a hitter's era when everybody was juiced up hitting home runs all the time. And then Roger Clemens is the other one I'm thinking, but he obviously. I
think Clemens won 7.
7-1, but he was like, his cards.
7 Cy Youngs,
yeah. I mean, those 4 pitchers, think that's, what is that, 20 Cy Youngs between the 4 of them, all in the 90s, basically? Clemens won a few in the 80s, I think.
Yeah, Clemens won 2 in the 80s. He had 18 years between his first and his last Cy Young.
Yeah. No, Clemens, if it wasn't for the steroids, would be considered the best starter ever, I think. Yeah. At least post-war.
Yeah. 139 WAR, speaking of.
139 career WAR for Clemens.
Yeah. He's what's the top 5 all time, maybe?
Yeah. But I mean,
8th.
All 3, so all 4 of those guys. So Sandy Koufax's his 5-year run in the 60s is considered the best, 5-year pitching run ever. But all 4 of those guys are right there, like in terms of their 5-year greatness, I would say.
Yeah, but Koufax won 3.
None of their cards have any values or show that long-term value.
Right. Koufax won 3 Cy Youngs, 3 Triple Crowns, pitcher Triple Crowns.
And an MVP, and I think 2 World Series MVPs in there.
That's right. Yeah, 5 ERA titles, 4 World Series. Yeah, he was all right.
That's pretty good. Yeah, he didn't. The career totals didn't quite get there, but
yeah. So What do you see as the typical year-long buy sell? What's the word I'm looking for?
Yeah, of the hobby.
Yeah. So when's the best time to buy? When's the best time to sell?
So yeah,
Baseball cards.
for baseball, definitely the best time to buy is November, December. Right after the season's end, nobody is paying attention. Everyone's forgotten about baseball. Football's in full swing. Basketball's in full swing. Everybody's into other things. And then the best time to sell, usually I would say, is right about now. Right as the season is, right before the season starts, I would say. Or
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, my friend Kevin is a dealer too, and he does that exact same thing. Like he'll buy cards through the winter, save them for spring training, and then dump them in spring training. And if a guy gets hot in April, he's like, "Well, I took that risk."
Yeah. I do a little bit of that with baseball. I do actually do it more in football. But yeah, I wouldn't like ever pick a specific player. I'd just sort of spread out, buy a bunch, the key rookie card of a bunch of active stars, and then they won't shoot up that much. But there's a notable difference between November and April, I'd say. Yeah.
Speaking of football, I don't do any football at all, but I follow football. Does it seem like football cards is just largely QB prospecting?
Yeah. I mean, I talk about this all the time. Yeah, absolutely. If you're a collector and your favorite player is not a quarterback, you're in good shape because you can get a lot of nice stuff for not a lot of money. It's all about QB prospecting. That's absolutely true. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just not appealing to me.
No.
It doesn't seem like as much of a hobby as it does just investing. And basketball cards are really starting to get there, although there are more star basketball players than just like quarterbacks with football.
Yeah.
You would never have a center star right now, at least in the last 10 years. But there's point guards, there's shooting guards, there's small forwards, power forwards, Zion, and their cards can get really valuable up there and collectible. But football just seems like it's out there compared to the other sports.
You mean because of the quarterback thing?
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, the quarterback touches the ball on every play, I guess, but kind of like if the hitter versus pitcher, argument. But yeah, quarterbacks are way too expensive, and I think all the other positions are undervalued often.
Yeah.
I actually did. That's funny. It was a while ago. It's probably 4 or 5 months ago. I did a video about the number 1 draft picks for football quarterbacks, and it was something, I don't remember the numbers, but it was something like there've been 14 taken number 1 overall in the last 20 years, and none of them turned into all-time greats. The best was Eli Manning, and there has not been another one who's had like a no-brainer Hall of Fame career. And Eli Manning, like we discussed last time, is borderline.
He's only close to the Hall of Fame because he won 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah, and 2 Super Bowl MVPs. Yeah. And he beat Brady in both of them, so he's got that.
I don't remember that. I don't think that happened. Patriots fan here.
Yeah.
Are there any sports? So neither of us really follows baseball closely anymore. Are there any sports that you do follow closely?
Football. Yeah, football is the sport I follow closest. I'm a Washington fan. They're terrible every year. So
they have a terrible owner.
They have a terrible owner who might be getting kicked out any day now. If anyone follows that story, but yeah, he's a really terrible owner. That's true.
Yeah. Who do you want to buy them? Do you have a favorite billionaire?
Well, I mean, I don't care. I like when you've had such a bad owner for 25 years or whatever, you'll take anyone. But yeah, I think Jeff Bezos is in the discussion.
I think he's out of the discussion now, isn't he?
Is he? Okay, I haven't checked it in the last few days, but like Jay-Z was in talks at some point to be involved. There's some local guys. Even like Michael Jordan was said to be rumored as a potential minority owner.
Well, he's selling the Hornets.
Yeah. I don't know. I really just want our owner out and have a chance to be decent.
That's how I felt about the Red Sox.
With the Red Sox, with
20 years ago, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What happened there?
They were owned by Gene Yockey, who was, and I'm probably forgetting some details here, so I'm sure I'll get some angry comments. But Tom Yockey was their owner for decades in the 1900s. he left it to his wife, Jean Yockey, and a trust. And basically, they did nothing with the team for decades through the, I don't know, 70s, 80s, 90s. And then I don't think Jean Yockey passed away, and she left it to the trust, and the trust just gutted the team largely. And then they sold it around 2002. And I was just rooting for them to sell it. Anybody who buys it, I'll be happy. It's got to be better.
Yeah. Well, it was, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They won a World Series 2 years after selling it to John Henry.
Well, they weren't terrible in the 70s and 80s. How were they any good in the 90s? I feel like, how about the 90s? They weren't very good.
Yeah. So they won a ALCS or ALDS in 1990, thanks to a big catch from Tom Bernansky in the corner. And then they were, if I remember correctly, they were bad until 95 again. And then they were bad until you had Nomar and Pedro starting in 97, 98, maybe.
Yeah. Okay.
And they became good again right around then. And they were good consistently after that.
Okay. Yeah. I remember in the 90s, they're not being particularly relevant.
Yeah.
But they obviously made the World Series in 86 and 75 with Fisk.
Yep. And in 88, they had Morgan Magic. Joe Morgan was the manager, and they won a lot of games in a short time.
Joe Morgan was the manager? No. Different Joe Morgan?
Different Joe Morgan.
Not the player. Okay. Yeah.
Right. Very different Joe Morgan.
Yeah.
But he didn't he was a big deal in 88. They won the division. And then in 89, they went back to mediocrity at best.
Yeah. All right. Well, I mean,
not this Joe Morgan right here.
Yeah, I was going to say Joe Morgan. I don't remember him being a manager, or I mean, maybe he was, but yeah, I remember he was an announcer.
He's a bad announcer.
He was a bad announcer.
Yeah, in my opinion. Yeah.
Okay.
All he would do was say, "That was a fastball. That was a curveball."
Well, I mean, it was, right?
Yeah. So we're coming up on 30 minutes here. We're gonna do a second video. I'd like to do a war lightning round with you to end this first one, and then we'll start a second video to do the next 30 minutes. So I'm gonna go through 10 or so players.
Yeah.
I'd love to see what you think of their wars. These are 70s, 80s, 90s guys.
Perfect.
And the first one is a little different. It's the only one that's a little different. So Dante Bichette won the MVP. This went viral a couple months ago, so you may already be familiar with this. But he won second place in the MVP in 1995. He hit 40 home runs.
Yeah.
He batted .340 that season and had a .984 OPS. He led the league in bases and hits. What was his WAR that season?
In 1995?
Yep.
So is a trick question? Because give me the numbers again. 40 home runs, hit 40
home runs, .340, .984 OPS, led the league in bases and hits. And for anybody who's watching who's not familiar with WAR, a typical MVP season is a minimum of 6 WAR, really 8 or above. Yeah. What do you think his WAR was? That finished second in MVP voting.
I'll say 10.
1.2.
Was he? How does that pan out? Was he terrible in the field?
Well, yeah, partially, but also because he played in Colorado at the peak of Colorado's park differential.
Yeah.
And WAR factors in park factors.
That can't be right, though. 1.2.
1.2. Yeah. What do you think his career WAR was? He hit 274 home runs.
Well, if he played his career in Colorado, most of his career in Colorado, then I would have probably said something like 25, but I'll drop it to 15.
5.7.
Wow.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah. Okay.
There's no way you would know that, right?
No, that's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah. So these other ones are easier.
Okay, that's a good one.
Yeah. Maglio Ordonez.
I'm going to say in the low 30s, 32.
39.
Okay.
Yep. Fred Lynn,
I'm going to say similar to Maglio Ordonez, 39.
50.
50. Okay. Yeah.
He was very good for the Red Sox.
Well, he was a stud at the beginning. Yeah.
Yeah. Like Hall of Fame talent. And then I think injuries. Then he went to California where
like
I think
5 years into his career, was he like a no-brainer future Hall of Famer?
Yeah,
Ronald
I
Acuna,
think so.
Soto level.
So I'll just bring him up on Baseball Reference here. I don't know why my internet is slow today.
Well, he won the MVP and Rookie of the Year in his rookie year, right?
Yep, he had 9 All-Stars. He was 4 times Gold Glove, won a batting title.
Yeah.
And I don't think my internet's slow. I think it's actually Baseball Reference.
Oh, he didn't get much MVP Hall of Fame consideration, I assume.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
All right, let's go. Wow, it just loaded there. So if we just look at his first 6 seasons, he had, that's where all of his WAR is. He has 35 WAR in his first 6 seasons.
Wow.
Yeah.
A player with 35. Wow. You just you multiply that by 3. He's like an all-time great.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Another Red Sox star, Dwight Evans.
Dwight Evans. I mean, similar. I'm going to say in the 40s, 45.
67.
Wow, 67. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Future Hall of Famer, Dwight Evans.
I was going to say, why isn't he getting more consideration then?
I think he will. I think he will get in with whenever he's next eligible for that committee.
Yeah.
Old Timers Committee, whatever it's called.
So when in the like the late 70s, in the late 70s, the Red Sox had Jim Rice, Fred Lynn, Dwight Evans, and Carly Yastrzemski. Where were these out? How are they doing with all these outfielders?
Well, Yaz.
That's 4 like star outfielders.
Fred Lynn left the Red Sox in '81.
Okay.
So he went to the California Angels back when they were called that.
Yeah.
Yaz was pretty much done. He retired in '83, but he was done before that. Jim Rice, one of these guys must have been a DH.
They were all playing for 5 years in the late 70s together. All 4 of them.
Yeah.
Wait, is that right? Yeah. Rice, Lynn, Evan. Yeah, all 4 of them. So
maybe
Yaz was a first baseman or something. I don't know.
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
Al Oliver.
Al Oliver, I'm going to say mid 40s, 45.
44.
Okay.
Yeah, very good. Tony Gwynn.
Tony Gwynn. Oh, how would WAR factor him in? I'm going to say like 80.
69.
69. Okay.
The epitome of the 90s, Johnny Damon.
Johnny Damon? I have a funny Johnny Damon story, but
well, we'll foreshadow that. You can tell it in the next video.
Okay. Johnny Damon, I'm going to say 25.
56.
What? 56?
Yeah. And now he's playing for the Savannah Bananas with Bill Lee.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Johnny Damon, 56. My apologies, Mr. Damon.
I've got 2 more. Luis Gonzalez.
Luis Gonzalez? Who is that? I'm drawing a blank on who that is.
He hit 57 home runs for the Arizona Diamondbacks in 2001, maybe.
Oh, Luis Gonzalez. Yeah, Luis Gonzalez, of course. Sorry. Luis Gonzalez. He actually started with the Orioles at one point.
Huh.
40.
52.
Okay.
Last one. Orioles, Brady Anderson.
Brady Anderson, 20. He had 50 home runs too. 20.
Yeah. 35.
35.
He had
Brady.
2 other really, really good seasons other than his 50 home run season for WAR.
Okay. Oh, what were they?
I don't remember. Okay, yeah, I was looking them up this morning.
Yeah, he was a stud leadoff hitter for a while.
Yeah, 99. He hit 24 home runs, but I think some of his value was tied up in stolen bases. He had 315 in his career and fielding.
Yeah,
but Baseball Reference is just really slow right now.
Okay. He was I don't think he ever got busted, but he's a pretty PED likely candidate player.
Yeah. So let's wrap this one up, and we're going to encourage people to watch the next video when I post it the next day. Yeah. And we'll end this and then start a new here in a minute.
Yeah, and I have 10 more for Mike, so that'll be fun. 10
yes.
10 around for him.
I'm looking forward to it. All right.
Cool.
See you in a minute.
Yep.